And gracious God, be with us this evening as we debate and discuss issues that are important to the county and the family of the county employees. We look forward to your insightful wisdom through your most holy name. Amen. Madam Clerk, could you call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Commissioner Bear,
Present.
Commissioner Walls, Commissioner Kennedy,
Here.
Commissioner Duckham, Commissioner Plesky,
Here.
Commissioner Alexander, Commissioner Williams,
Present.
Commissioner Snell,
Here.
Chairman Shotwell.
Here.
8 present.
Thank you. Entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Any additions, deletions, or corrections? Seeing or hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, nay. Motion carried. We've arrived at the first opportunity for public comment. Each individual will state their name, have 3 minutes to address the board. You may only address the board once under this public comment opportunity and may not yield your time to others. Board members will not debate nor answer questions at this time. This is the first opportunity for public comment.
Morning, Commissioners. Jeremy Burns, Grass Lake. I respect the position that you are in tonight. I know it is a difficult position. But I'm also coming as a concerned employee and for the employees that we have difficulty in getting, employees that we have difficult in keeping, and then also pointing out just the own employee satisfaction surveys that have been taken over the years. In 2017, there was a 53% satisfaction for the benefits of the employees. 2019, when the county switched to a different healthcare provider, the response at that point was 29%. And then the following year, or in 2021, when the next survey was taken, after the county switched back to the Blue Cross Blue Shield, the satisfaction percentage went back up to 53%. As we look through the benefits package, we know that there is difficulties in switching. It has been very difficult in the past, for a lot of the employees. And so I just wanted to point those things out. I know that this is a different provider that is being looked at. So I can't determine whether or say one way or the other whether the issues that we had before, but it was devastating on a lot of the employees as that happened. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Any other public comment? Public comment is now closed. Employee medical insurance presentation. Michael Overton.
Good evening, Board. I'm here to present an overview of the potential change. Is that echoing really bad? Yes. If you could go to the first slide, please. Thank you very much. So the county, per the collective bargaining agreements, we must provide medical insurance. So that consists of healthcare, dental, and vision per the collective bargaining agreements. We followed current county process of requesting RFPs We submitted RFPs for the medical. We only received 2 providers that submitted bids. One was Blue Cross Blue Shield, our current provider. The second one was Priority Health. So we only had 2 submitting bids for the medical coverage. We received 3 bids for the dental coverage, and we received 2 bids for the vision coverage. Active employees that we have covered under the current medical plan, we have 416 employees covered. We have an additional 51 employees that pick up vision and dental as a standalone. The pre-65 retirees covered medical, that consists of 144 participants. And then the post-65 retirees covered medical Medicare supplemental plan consists of 504 participants. That's just a little bit of background with where we are as a county. We issued the RFP. The county also looked at the process of potentially looking for self-funding. Currently, our current plan is a fully funded insurance plan. Sorry about that. And we looked at the fact of what happened if we went with Blue Cross Blue Shield and went to self-funding, with where we assumed the full cost of all incurred expenses. By the projection, that would net an increased cost for the 2023 year of $1.189 million increase to with where we currently are. That is outside the fiscal budgeted amount that we have approved. So that is not a feasible transition at this time. We will continue to pursue that at future dates. The county has experienced significant increases in our loss ratio for the past year. Our medical utilization alone went up close to 40%, so 36.8%. Pharmacy utilization went up 20.6%. Dental utilization went up 2.6%. Vision utilization actually went down 7.1%. So why are those utilizations so important? That's what drives our experience rating. So if we have increased in utilization, it's going to drive the cost up for our quotes as we receive them in. Next slide. Good. The quotes that we received in, the current plan employer medical costs for Blue Cross Blue Shield full-time is $5.1 million. The pre-65 Blue Cross Blue Shield is $1.86 million. And the post-65 plan is $2.29 million. The medical quote from Blue Cross Blue Shield for 2023 resulted in a 17% increase, which increased it to $5.972 million, or a $862,000 increase to our budget. Priority Health, on the other hand, submitted a quote that was 12% above, or $5.69 million, $5.69 million, or a $585,361 increase. Priority Health is also providing an implementation credit of $100,000, resulting in a net, if they decide to transition, of $377,599. So that's significant cost decrease to the county by transitioning to that plan. The other thing is Blue Cross Blue Shield, when they originally presented, they presented at a 33% increase, which they came in about 2 weeks ago, decreased the amount, and they decreased it to 17%. So that was significant last minute, and they knew and they understood that they probably were going to lose business if they didn't reduce that cost. On top of that, the medical 2023 quote for pre-65 employer cost, Blue Cross Blue Shield came in at a 16%. So that transitioned to $2.15 million. Priority Health was a 7%, or $1.98 million. So once again, a cost savings of transition of $166,000. So the total cost differential, if we switch plans, would result in a $543,697 within 1 year. So significant cost savings if we transition plans. Also, Priority Health
Michael?
is, yes, sir.
Just a quick question there. It's going up though regardless, right?
It is going up regardless.
It's not like we're saving any money. We're still going to be paying hundreds of thousands more.
Correct. So whether we pick Blue Cross Blue Shield or Priority, the cost will go up to the county. Yes. One is $800,000. The other is $585,000. So once again, it's significant cost increase to the county. Blue Cross Blue Shield would be 17% increase in cost. Priority Health would be 12% increase in cost. So overall, the cost increase is going to be one way or the other, whether we go with Priority or Blue Cross. It's just the amount of reduction if we decide to transition to Priority Health, which would be a projected $543,697 savings to the county. Priority Health also came in and said they are going to do something in year 2 and 3, which is unheard of for medical insurance. So usually you only get one cost year or one projection. Priority Health has come in and said in 2024, we're going to give you a rate cap not to exceed 9.9%. And once again, one of the first slides that I went over, our rate experience is up 37%. The numbers we have so far that we have currently is tracking at the same rate for experience rating. So next year, we're going to be in a very similar situation as far as rating and experience. So we can expect an increase without that rate guarantee of approximately 17 to 20% increase next year. Priority Health is saying they will cap that at 9.9%. Then in the third year, they're willing to cap it at 20%. What is key is Jackson County retains the ability to change insurance plans each year. So even if we went with priority this year, even though they're giving us the rate cap guarantee of 9.9, it does not bind us to Priority Health moving forward. If Blue Cross Blue Shield comes in next year and gives us a decrease, let's say they quoted and they come in at a 3% increase next year, we could decide to go back to Blue Cross Blue Shield if we wished. Next thing I want to talk about is disruption, because as Jeremy told you, it affects employees. This decision is not just monetary. It's how it affects our employees. So basically you look at disruption. So how is the priority network? What's the size of the network? And what's the potential disruption to employees? So it's very important to look at that. For disruption for facilities, for doctors, hospitals, and physicians, you're looking at a 3.5% disruption rating, which that means 3.5% of doctors, hospitals, providers would not be within the network with where people currently utilize them. So not very large, usually industry standard, anything above 90% is considered very good for transition. This is much above that. And not only that, but that's also including totals of dental and vision, because there's no way to separate those two out. So total number of providers is in the graphic, thank you. Total number of providers is 2,659. Excluded providers is 59. Providers analyzed 2,600. Number in the priority network, 2,509. And once again, you get that 96.5% non-disruption. So once again, 3.5 disruption rating as for providers and doctors within the network.
Question.
Probably more important is, yes.
Thank you. Well, is it easier for you to go through your presentation, ask questions at the end, or do you want us just to
Please,
go?
along the way would be fine.
Okay, thank you. So when we have the list of providers, is there a way for us to know who these individuals are?
No, because once again, we shouldn't be knowing with whose doctors are medically provided. Now, the insurance companies know who those are, but for us as an employer, I can't know who your doctor would be.
Well, I don't necessarily mean that the employer would tell us, but do we have a list of the providers that are under Priority Health?
Oh, the listing of doctors and hospitals?
Yes.
Yeah, actually, that's in the presentation.
Oh, okay.
That's coming up. Well, at least the facilities.
Okay.
Obviously, doctors, and that's not capable, because for doctors, you're talking about hundreds of thousands of doctors. So
Okay.
once again, if you think of every physician, every specialist, so how many of those are in the state of Michigan? And Priority Health probably has 95% of those within the network.
Do they have it narrowed, or is there any way that it could be narrowed down by county? So can we just say the list of the providers in Jackson County are this?
We could get, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, seems a little loud. I've changed insurance several times. My wife works for the state, and on their website, Priority Health will have a list of all doctors.
Priority Health has probably one of the best websites. I've had Blue Cross Blue Shield. I've had HAP, which is, I know, a four-letter word, and Priority Health as well. So I can appreciate all three. I've actually led a transition from Blue Cross Blue Shield to HAP, much of the same type of issues that this county experienced. And then I had led a transition back to Blue Cross Blue Shield, then a transition to Priority Health. So I've seen the whole gamut. And what I can tell you is Priority Health's website is probably one of the best I've seen in the industry.
I see.
It provides a lot of detail. You can type in a doctor's name You can type in the geographical area for a specialist that you're looking for. So let's say it's orthopedic surgeon. You can type in orthopedic surgeon and do a radius, and it'll list you all the doctors within that radius.
Does Blue Cross Blue Shield have that same capability or at least something close to that?
Not as functional. Yes, of course, you can call Blue Cross Blue Shield helpline. They can
Yeah.
tell you whether somebody's in or out. And they, of course, list all the facilities. So they'll say these are the facilities that are within network. But as far as ease for an employee to search, like right now, any employee, even though we're not a part of Priority Health right now, you as well, any person in the state of Michigan can type in Priority Health and they can find a physician, and it'll tell you whether they're a physician within Priority Health Network.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Nothing further.
Okay, probably the biggest thing with disruption that is probably the largest concern is prescription drug costs. Not prescription drug costs, prescriptions themselves, excuse me. So prescriptions are obviously something that is near and dear to everybody's heart. It has to do with people's well-being. It has to do with their family members, their loved ones. So when they have prescriptions, especially long-term individuals using prescriptions, that's something that they take very, very seriously. It's very important to employees. So with that, the physicians and doctors and networks are very important. Prescriptions are probably likewise even more important. So once again, as prescriptions come up, we look at a disruption. How many people are going to be on a medication that's covered by Blue Cross Blue Shield, but then wouldn't be covered by Priority Health? So with that, we take a look at that. We took a look at the numbers, and overall 37 scripts out of 12,900 scripts total for the year. 37 scripts or 0.2% of the total would normally require pre-authorization. So that doesn't mean that that person would be not able to pick up that script. It means that they would have to go through the step of pre-authorization. So that would be 0.2% of that 12,900. 56 scripts or 0.4 total would normally require step therapy. So once again, an employee would have to go through step therapy to stay on that medication. Now with Priority Health, the nice thing is if you've already been through step therapy and can show that through your physician, they will not require you to go through step therapy a second time. But you have to be able to document and show that you've been through the step therapy. And then finally, the formulary distribution is minimal, or disruption is minimal. There were 99 scripts or 0.7 total on the non-formulary list. One is off the market. Numerous are over-the-counter medications. Most are antihistamine, motion sickness, weight loss, or male dysfunction. A couple of listed drugs were duplicates of each other, but counted as different drugs because of the milligram differential for each one that's counted separately. So taking all of this in totality, all the prescription disruption, 192 scripts out of the 12,900 or 1.5% disruption rate. That is very, very low as far when you're transitioning insurance plans. Now, once again, what does that mean? That's going to have significant impact for those 1.5%, because it means they're going to have to look for step therapy or have to get pre-authorization or have to look to change medications.
Sorry.
Step therapy, a lot of times you'll have to try a generic, then you'll have to try a preferred brand. So a lot of times it could be 2 to 3 medication steps involved in a step therapy. So it can be significant in the process because each one, you have to allow a certain amount of time to see what the reaction would be to that medication.
I see. Thank you.
Mhm. Yes, sir.
Maybe it's further in this presentation, but isn't one of the benefits of this company that they have a board that you can show that you've done step therapy so you can skip having to do it again?
Yes, and I did mention that they do have a process that if you did step therapy before and you can document it to them, they would. But you are right. They actually have a governing board for prescription drug costs and prescriptions themselves. And it consists of pharmacists, it consists of doctors, and they can petition. Your doctor can petition at any time and say, hey, this is a medication we'd like you to consider. This is why the recommended medication won't work for this patient. Now, it doesn't mean that it's automatically going to be allowed. No, it has to go through that process. But they do have a review board. So priority service area map. This is the part that's probably least knowledgeable. A lot of people may not have heard of Priority Health. They're the second largest insurance provider in the state of Michigan. 97% of Michigan is covered by Priority Health. So there's very few gap areas within the state of Michigan. And then also Priority Health has contracted networks using Cigna, which is nationwide. So if it's something that you go outside the state of Michigan, it picks up a nationwide network, which is Cigna, which goes coast to coast. Yes, sir.
So that means that if my daughter is attending the University of Colorado and something happens, she's going to be taken care of when she's out there almost immediately, correct?
And it depends on the insurance, but yes, yes is the answer to your question, but it's also dependent on the insurance you take. So if you take an HMO, whether it's Blue Cross Blue Shield or Priority, they both function the same way. An HMO is a network-based insurance. So an HMO means you have to render services within the network. Blue Care Network is only in the state of Michigan. Priority Health's HMO network is the state of Michigan. But if you have a daughter that goes to Colorado or Florida and is going to school, both insurance companies, if you contact them and prearrange and saying my daughter is going to one of these schools or this location, they will approve you as in network to get a primary care physician. So both function the same way.
So it's on the parent to make sure that the child is covered when they go away to college.
Correct. You have to make that, especially, once again, if you're traveling, then you have urgent care and emergency. So once again, you're covered either way with Blue Cross Blue Shield or Priority Health. So if you go see an urgent care, I'm in Florida, I'm on vacation, I have an earache, you go to urgent care facility, it's just like you're back home. I get in a car accident, I'm in Texas on vacation, I go to the emergency room, those services, even surgery is covered as if I'm in network. However, if I'm rendering services, say I want to go for an orthopedic surgery and I want to go to the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota, I have to gain approval through Blue Cross Blue Shield or Priority to go outside that network. The same thing would be for a daughter or son that's going to school. Next one is participating hospitals. Next slide. So this is a list of participating hospitals. I'm not going to go over it all. It's enormous. What I can tell you, everything in this area, geographically speaking, is covered. So you're talking about from Grand Rapids to Kalamazoo Borges to the Lakeland, to Battle Creek Health System. You have the local hospital with Henry Ford Allegiance. You have the U of M, St. Joe, Henry Ford. You also have the new hospital in between Adrian and Tecumseh. So once again, almost everything within the area, the only exception out of the Priority Network is Sparrow Hospital. However, McLaren within that area is covered within the network. Any questions with facilities? Yes, sir.
At the bottom of page 11, there's a couple listed participating hospitals that are cut off. There's only a little portion of the name visible. Is that the same ones that are covered on the next page, or is there just a couple of them that we can't see at all?
No, they're covered on the next page. It's just when they photocopied it off, but it's starting on the next page. Yep. Moving on to the next portion is Jackson County Post 65 option, which is very congruent with the active employees with which we just discussed. So once again, they have the option of, that was pre-65 was, I apologize. The pre-65 would be the same options that we just talked about with active employees. So the pre-65 also has a Blue Cross Blue Shield option, as well as a Priority Health option. And once again, for Blue Cross Blue Shield, that's a 16% increase, and Priority Health, that is I believe that's a 7 for the pre-65. Go back and look at that. And pre-65 is a 7% for Priority. So quite a considerably lower for the pre-65. Now transitioning to the post-65, once again, this is a Medicare supplemental plan. So this is not like traditional insurance with what we've been talking about. Medicare is a primary. The insurance is actually provided as supplementary care. Currently, we use VeraPro and Humana, and the increase that they quoted was 4.8%. These are regulated by the federal government. So once again, these are supplemental plans. They pick up with where Medicare leaves off. So the current annual cost is $2.18 million. The increased cost is $2.29 million for a total increased cost of $104,000. If we consolidate the post-65 Medicare prescription plans, right now we have different levels depending on when somebody retired with where the medical plans pick up costs. We have a plan that's a 333 copay. We have a plan that's a 555 copay. We have a plan that's a 10, 10, and 10. And then we have a plan that's 10, 20, 40, 40. So with that, we have different individuals that retired at different times. They have different co-payments from prescription costs. If we consolidate that into one plan, then the increased cost for providing the supplemental insurance drops from a 4.8% increase to a 0.7% increase, or the annual cost differential will be $15,446. So much less cost by combining it and having a consistent prescription plan across all 4 levels. Any questions with that? Okay.
Thank you. I just want to make sure I understand that. So if we choose going to the consistent copay, some folks who are currently paying 333 would go to 10, 20, 40.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's a change in
It'd be a
benefit
significant
that we
change.
really haven't been talking about too much in the way of changes in benefit so far, but that is a change as to those, were we to choose that.
Correct. And that is the only difference for that plan option. All the plans remain the same functional level. It is just changing the co-payment for the prescription coverage for that. And so as opposed to having 4 of them, we would go to 1 and it would be that 10, 20, 40. And with that, once again, you are going to be significantly impacting some individuals. If you're currently paying 333 across the board and you have a medication that's going to be $80 per month and you have 3 or 4 of those, that's a significant cost increase to a retiree.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right. Final thing would be the dental and vision. Dental and vision is quoted and provided currently by Blue Cross Blue Shield. We also had for dental, Guardian Dental provide a quote as well as Delta Dental. Blue Cross Blue Shield was the lowest cost provider. They actually projected a cost savings of $32,914. So it's actually a cost decrease for the dental with Blue Cross Blue Shield Dental. Guardian was a $12,000 decrease and Delta Dental was a $1,154 increase. Because of the fact of the significance of the decrease with Blue Cross Blue Shield Dental, there'd be no reason that I see that recommending a change with the dental provider. For the vision, Blue Cross Blue Shield is our vision provider. The 2022 cost was $77,257. The projected increased cost is $65,071, a decrease of $12,186 for vision. Visa Vision, which is a conglomerate of Guardian for their vision side coverage, they actually quoted a $60,168 cost for 2023 or a $17,000 decrease. So they would be the lowest cost provider. I would not recommend going with them because once again, it would require a change in plan providers. Our plan provider right now is Blue Cross Blue Shield for both dental and vision. That would require an additional card and the cost differential between the two is $4,000. I don't think $4,000 is enough to make a change or recommend a change at this time. And that is everything we have for presentation. I would be happy to answer any questions regarding benefits.
I didn't see it in the presentation, but I believe the transitional savings would also be for the employees, not just the county. Do we have those amounts where the increase they would pay if we stuck with Blue Cross Blue Shield compared to if we transitioned to priority?
Yes, we do have that comparison. It's not as substantial as it would be for the county because once again, we're an 80-20. So the county picks up 80% of the cost, the employee would pick up 20% of the cost. For Blue Cross Blue Shield for the HMO, if it's a full family, the differential for the year would be $734.21. So that would be a $734 increase to the family for an HMO. For the PPO with Blue Cross Blue Shield, it would be an additional $400 per year for full family. And that would be against with where Priority Health came in. So the differential for the HMO would be $644. And the PPO would be $63 for the full family. So once again, the comparison, HMO for the full family would be a $734 increase for the HMO compared to a $644 of Priority. And then for the PPO or the high deductible plan, it'd be $400 with Blue Cross Blue Shield compared to $63 with Priority.
So a little under $100 for the PPO and about 300 and,
That's the additional cost.
yeah. But to the better to be with Priority.
Correct.
Yes.
Both are better to go to Priority, but once
Yeah.
again, the comparison of the 734 to 644 is obviously quite a bit smaller, but
Yeah.
the $400 difference to the 63 is significant. I would agree.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Further questions?
Mr. Chair, if I might.
Yes, sir.
Okay, are we to the point, I'm looking now at the staff report that have the various options listed.
Yes, sir.
And I guess I see the different options, but I guess I would want to make sure I knew which of those were the management recommendation.
If you go to the bottom of page 4 to Roman numeral 5, it says recommendation. And the positions then would be tallied to make those work with staff.
Okay?
Administrator recommendation.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir. And if I'm wrong, I'm more than willing to listen to a correction. I'm correct that
That
that's
is
the
correct. Yes.
commissioners? I was going to entertain a motion for 2023 medical insurance provider for active and pre-65 retirees. The Board of Commissioners authorized the administrator controller to sign a new contract with Priority Health to provide medical coverage for active employees and pre-65 retiree plan for 2023 benefit year.
So moved.
They have a motion and support. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, you may either post or call the roll, whichever you prefer. Thank you.
You're welcome. Commissioner Bear,
Yes.
Commissioner Walls,
Yeah.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Plesky,
Yes.
Commissioner Alexander,
Yes.
Commissioner Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner Snell,
Yes.
Chairman Shetwa.
Yes.
Unanimous.
For the 2023 medical year, providers for post-65 retirees, the Board of Commissioners authorized the administrator controller to sign a new contract with VeraPro and Humana to provide medical coverage for post-65 retiree plan for the 2023 benefit year and consolidate multiple RX plans into one RX plan structure.
So moved.
I have a motion.
Support.
I have support. Commissioner comments. Seeing nor hearing none. Madam Clerk, you may either post or call the roll, whichever you prefer.
Commissioner Walls. Commissioner Kennedy,
No.
Commissioner Plesky,
Yes.
Commissioner Alexander,
Yes.
Commissioner Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner Snell,
Yes.
Commissioner Bear, Chairman Shetwa.
No.
2-6, 6-2.
Yes. A medical and vision provider, the Board of Commissioners authorized the county administrator to sign new contract with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan to provide dental and vision coverage for the benefit year 2023.
Support.
Support.
Any questions to the motion? Madam Clerk, you may either post or call.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Pulaski,
Yes.
Commissioner Alexander,
Yes.
Commissioner Williams,
No.
Commissioner Snell,
Yes.
Commissioner Bear,
Yes.
Commissioner Walls.
Yeah.
Chairman Shotwell,
Yes.
7-1.
We've arrived at the second frame of public comment. Public comment guidelines, each individual will state their name and you have 2 minutes to address the board. You may only address the board once under this public comment opportunity, may not yield your time to others. Board members will not debate or answer questions at this time. Second public comment. Any public comment?
Billy Williams, current employee and Summit Township resident. I am a little bit disappointed that the current employees were granted in my department a 3% raise. What I see now that we will be going with this new plan is that raise is gone. It will be going towards medical expenses. That's a disappointment. It's also disappointing that we weren't told whether this was an HMO plan we were switching to, a PPO plan, or anything like that. That wasn't discussed. We had no comment on that until after he presented it and after you all had voted. That's a disappointment. It's just very frustrating to be a county employee at this time. We're struggling to retain, keep good quality employees, attract new quality employees. And our motto is Jackson is a great place to live and work and play. I'm not sure of that anymore. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Any other public comment? Hearing none, public comments now closed. Any commissioner comments? Commissioner Bear.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Recently, we passed policy 5340. How do outside agencies access our MPSCS system? That policy has never been on our list of policies. And I've opened up our list of policies and it's still not listed. Never has been and it isn't. I think it's time that since we modified it, that we get this policy added into our list of policies. Second point, or second item I want to bring up tonight is between checking through my emails and what I have sent and received between March 1st, 1999 and March 15th, 1999. It's when our emails were changed, the email address. I have not been handing out business cards because the email is wrong. It's been 3.5 years. Could we get our business cards updated so they have the appropriate email address?
Any other commissioner comments? Commissioner Alexander.
Thank you, Chairman. Still new at this. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to speak to the comment that we heard. And of course, I'm the newest guy, so I tried to study this extra amount for this decision here. And when it comes to the county here, we did not change your benefits. We can't change your benefits. Those are in your contracts and all that. We've changed the provider of the benefits. So that is my understanding. So now this is coming through another source, and other than the prescriptions that we talked about and the transitory issues, we shouldn't have the problems. We're going from the HMO, the PPOs, and I believe there's the waive year plan, and those still persist just for the different providers. I'm always looking to learn something new, and that is the impression I'm under. And I thought about not making this comment, but I'd rather make the comment and stick my foot where it belongs if that is in fact the case. But that is the impression that I'm working under, and I look forward to learning about this process over the next couple of months as I learn from the feedback that we're going to get from the county employees, because you are who it matters to most. Lastly, to the cost of it, any employment benefit, whether it's a raise that we get to every employee, and everyone deserves more, of course, we want you to keep that in your pocket. That's why it's given. And it's a sad fact of this world that cost of insurance, medical insurance goes up every single year. And as the decisions that we had here, we had some decisions where if we did nothing, the cost would go up 17%. If we make a change, it's only going to go up 12%. As best we can, all we can do is manage the costs to have the cost go up as least amount. And hopefully that is what we succeeded in doing so tonight. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Further commissioner comments? Entertain a motion to adjourn. We have a motion and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Duly carried.